Hello, welcome to San Francisco International Arts Festival 2019 interview series. Today we have Abdul Kenyatta from the Speak Easy Storytelling series, who will be interviewed by James Livingston today.
So, Abdul, can you tell me about your organization and how you got started storytelling?
Well, I got started storytelling actually from being a slam poet. From being a slam poet, I had a friend, Jamie DeWolf, who asked me to do a national public television show and to tell a story that he remembered me telling when we were touring together. And I came out and I told that story, and I realized that I tell stories. And then, I realized that I tell stories, but I realized that I had another audience to tell stories to because I have 11 grandchildren and three great grandchildren, and I tell stories to them all of the time. My granddaughter's about 30 now, and she's got three children of her own. And every now and again, she would look at me and she'd say, "But, Granddad, you already told us that story." So I realized that I needed to expand my audience.
And so, in your words, what is the difference between spoken word and storytelling and slam poetry?
All of it is spoken word.
Hmm.
All of it is spoken word. That's what when a poet gets on stage, he's speaking words. When a storyteller gets on stage, he's speaking words. So basically, it's all spoken word. You can break it down into various genres, but it's all under the heading of basically it's all storytelling and it's all spoken word.
And what kind of stories are involved in your show?
In my show, I would think that what we're going to see are my show is a show where the storyteller is put in a position where he has the ability to tell the story that he considers to be his best or favorite story.
Hmm.
A lot of the people who are in our show are people who are comedians. They actually are on stage comedians in the Bay Area. So I'm expecting that there's going to be a lot of humor in the stories. There's generally humor in the stories. And then, there's drama and there's pathos. So there's a little bit of everything in the story. I guarantee you, each storyteller will be different from the one before him.
And how do events from your life influence your storytelling?
Well, again, like I said, one of the things that is an influence is the fact that I've been telling stories to my children and my friends for years. And that just naturally brought me into storytelling. And the way that my friend got me into doing a national public television show. And I was like, man, I really enjoy doing this. So then I started listening for other storytelling shows. And his name is Jamie DeWolf, and he runs a show called Tourette's Without Regrets now. But he introduced me to standing on stage telling stories, which is something that I enjoy doing.
And what do you have planned for this year's festival, and what do you hope that the audience can take away from your performance?
Well, I've got my own story that I have in mind that I would like to do, my favorite story. But we are in a very fortunate position. First of all, the MC of our show is the MC of The Moth. I don't know if everyone is familiar with The Moth, but The Moth is a storytelling show that takes place every month. And The Moth takes place all over the United States. And they have it one month in Berkeley, and they have it every month in Berkeley and every month in Oakland. So you get an opportunity to go to two shows each month. And that's where you'll find storytellers. Some of them, for the first time, are getting on stage and telling their story. So that's sort of a unique opportunity for people to come out and tell a story. It's also a great arena for people to come to and listen to stories and also to decide if, do I have a story that I'd like to tell one day?
So, if someone in the Bay Area is interested in storytelling, there are these avenues to explore that in the city.
I would think that the first place that I personally would want to go is I'd like to go to one of the Moth shows.
Hmm.
If you go to one of the Moth shows, that will give you a pretty good idea of what the parameters of storytelling are. The Moth show, those stories are 5 minutes each. And if you go over time, then you get a buzz or a beep or a gong or a dong. Um, in our show, you have an opportunity to tell a story the length that you want to tell the story and the story that you want to tell. So I guess that's the main difference from our show and other shows. Most shows, there's a theme. For instance, Justina Wu is from the Beyond Borders show. In her show, basically, there are people who have traveled and had experiences abroad, and they come back and they share stories of their adventures. Then we have a number of people who are in our show who are Moth winners. So we have Harry Songvi, he's a big-time Moth winner. We've got Jeff Hansen in the show. We've got some really good, interesting people in the show. There's Kevin Whittingill. Steve Budd has a one-man show that he's been doing in the Bay Area for a while now. So he's going to be in our show. We have Serini Wirasakira, and I just saw her for the first time last week, and I was like, you have to be in our show. You got to come up and tell us your best story. So basically what we have is a bunch of really talented people, most of whom produce their own shows, who are going to come to this show and tell their best story.
And is there anything else you'd like to tell us about your performance?
About my performance, if we're talking about my performance, tomorrow night there is a free show at 518 Valencia Street, and there will be an opportunity for people to come and see a number of storytellers just sharing their craft. And then on May 9th at Stageworks, which is 446 Valencia Street, at 7 p.m., I'll be doing a show there, and that'll be an excerpt from my show, my one-man show, which is called Confessions of an Angry African in America.
And so your show for this year's festival is not one man. You have lots of people planned for your show. Do you know how many people are in your performance?
I have challenged 10 people to come forward and tell their best or favorite story. And just so you'll know their names, Corey Rosen, who hosts The Moth, Jeff Hansen, who's a Moth winner several times, Harry Songvi has won the Moth a few times, Justina Wu is from Beyond Borders, Kevin Whittingill has a show called Epic Fails, and another show called Better Luck Next Time, and all of his shows are pretty comedic. Steve Budd, as I said, does a one-man show, and then we have Imran G, who's going to be coming to tell a story, and Steve Budd, I think I mentioned him before, who does a one-man show. So everyone will be doing what they want to do without anybody else making a suggestion of what or how they do it.
All right. And what are the dates for your performance for the festival again?
For the festival, we will be there on May 31st, Friday, May 31st at 9 p.m. at the Chapel in Fort Mason, San Francisco.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. I can't wait to see your performance.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
Thank you, Abdul, for joining us today. This year's festival runs from May 23rd to June 2nd. For more information and tickets, go to sfiaf.org, and we'll see you at Fort Mason Center.